Hey guys, uh, I'm basically just gonna make this tier list because I saw someone on YouTube doing it, and I was like, why not? Everyone has their own opinions, right? So I figure might as well add mine to the mix. Anyway, so this is just a tier list creator, and I I figured I'd put my 2 cents in. Um, So S tier is the best tier. S best. I don't know. And then A, B, C, D, and then F. F obviously is the worst. So it just goes down the list 1 through 6. Um, you can put multiples on one tier. So it doesn't have to be a specific like order 1 through whatever on the expansions. Um, So yeah, with that being said, I'll go ahead and put this. So I'll go current expansions backwards. So BFA, this one right here. BFA so far, on launch, it entertained me. I got bored with it quickly, especially after I hit exalted with all the factions that are available for reputation. And then it was just this weird lull or waiting period. So I got bored and I actually unsubscribed for several months. I recently came back my focus right now is gold making. I'm trying to farm up gold so that I can purchase WoW tokens and use the WoW tokens to pay for my subscription costs instead of real life money. Which real life money wise, it's not that big of a deal. It's like $15 a month, but it's still like if I can get away without spending that and still playing the game or whatever, that's kind of a goal. But anyway, so I'm kind of focused on classic right now when it launches. Anyway, so that's the only reason I'm subscribed to BFA right now. Although coming back, there was a few things that caught my interest, and I did like some new quest lines and stuff. Flying coming out soon. Overall, I wouldn't put it F tier. Like, it's definitely not the worst, but it's certainly not the best. I would say it's somewhere in the middle, like B or C. And I would actually even push it a little bit higher to like B tier. So I'll put that up in B tier. Just because I don't like S and A is like I really fucking enjoyed it all the way through. Kind of like B and C is kind of like I could take or take or leave some of the things in the game. Some things I like, some things I don't. D and F are like mostly just dislike it. At least that's my interpretation of it. Legion. I've frequently said that Legion is my second favorite next to Wrath of the Lich King. And that's just my personal opinion. I really enjoyed Legion. I really enjoyed the grind for artifact power. And I really enjoyed the class halls and the class focused quests. I really enjoyed everything about it, really. I played it start to finish all the way through for the most part. No real complaints. And I think that it was almost better than my favorite, which was Wrath of the Lich King. I'm going to give it an S tier, to be honest. I think Legion was really good. Some things that people don't like the Titan forging and stuff, are in Legion. But I personally don't mind the Titan forging system because if you can outgrind other people, generally you're going to have more Titan forges than other people. So it's still rewarding to people that have time and effort put into the game. However, there are some people that just get randomly lucky and get really good Titan forges. So that part's kind of like a little bit of a downer, but not that big of a downer. I really, really liked Legion. One expansion back from Legion, I believe, was Warlords of Draenor. Oh, yeah, that's an easy one. fucking F tier. Ah, hands down, the worst. The worst, yeah, the worst by far. I have nothing good to say about Warlords. I think I played 1 or 2 weeks of Warlords. And then the fucking Garrison, man, like, the Garrison seemed cool at first, but then the second I realized it was, like, giving you a bunch of free materials and stuff, it killed the market and the economy for that expansion's herbs or everything. You could basically get everything from your... You didn't need other people. You didn't need to have, like, a farmer supplying you with stuff. You just chilled in your garrison and did it every day, and you'd have it when you need it for the most part. And I, as a... Like, on the side, I enjoy making gold, furthering the amount of gold my characters have, as just something that motivates me, and I actually enjoy to do. Selling things and buying things and flipping things and farming things and stuff like that. This was a really bad expansion for something like that. And just in general, in every way, I disliked Warlords of Draenor. Hands down my least favorite expansion. Then we go back one from there, which I believe was MOP. MOP I enjoyed. I actually really liked the lore. I liked the zones. I did stop playing MOP around Terrace of Endless Spring or whatever. I didn't play the last 2 or 3 raids in MOP, but up until that point I was hardcore raiding, like seriously raiding 24 hours a week or something or more. And the 24 hours a week was just on my main, sometimes more. And I also had 2 or 3 other characters that were raid worthy and raiding outside of those hours. So I was raiding and playing a lot during MOP. I think as far as my real, like, how well I did compared to other guilds and other raiders, I was significantly higher in MOP than most of the other expansions. I wouldn't nearly classify it near, like, S tier. And I probably wouldn't even give it A tier. I would say it's a B or a C. I probably liked it about as much as BFA. A little bit more, actually, than BFA. So I wonder if I can order it. Yeah. So I'll put it here in B tier, with BFA being slightly behind. And honestly, I almost want to move BFA down to C tier. I'll think about it. But right now, that's kind of where we're going. Left to right will be, I like more on the left, less on the right. So that way, if you want like an actual list. So right now, Legion's overtaking both of these. MOP is overtaking BFA, and both of these are overtaking Warlords by miles. Before, I mean, the whole panda thing people didn't like, but I was whatever about it. Okay, so before that was Cataclysm. I enjoyed Cata. I'm pretty sure I played it all the way through. I was actually ranking really, really high in Cataclysm. As far as like World of Logs and stuff, I think I was in the top 10 on Frosty Death Knights consistently. And if not that, then much higher. Or much, like, around. I was definitely in top 100 very regularly, even when I was with a more casual guild. But when I got accepted into, I think it was the Flying Hellfish on Kill Jaden, and we were clearing content efficiently at a high level, that's when my rankings were like super, super high. I was in the top 10 regularly. I think I had some number 1 rankings, if I'm not mistaken. I really enjoyed it. I don't think there's anything about Cataclysm I didn't like. I kind of didn't like how they redid a lot of the areas, but it made some of the older areas more interesting, in my opinion. I'm going to give it above these two. I would say it's like high B or low A. Just for the sake of putting something in the A tier, I'll put this in the A tier. Behind Legion. Next, Wrath of the Lich King. Hands down, in my opinion, my favorite expansion. I'll put it in S tier above Legion. And I don't really have any real reasons that I have to give you. It just was my favorite. I enjoyed ICC. ICC was my favorite raid, hands down. I enjoyed all of the content. I enjoyed questing, which I hate questing, but I enjoyed questing in Wrath of the Lich King. I thought that the difficulty to get through all the zones and max out your time was difficult enough to separate you from other people, but I don't know. I just, hands down, Wrath of the Lich King S tier. My number one pick out of all of the expansions. Next, Burning Crusade. I don't know. Burning Crusades when I first started playing. I made a character. My first character was a hunter. I leveled to like level 37 without even knowing that you had a talent tree. Like, I had no talents at level 37. It was horrible. I was such a scrub. Brand new to the game. Never played an MMO before. Never played anything similar graphically to World of Warcraft. I did, I think, enter a raid before the end of BC. It was Karazhan, I believe. And even then, like, it wasn't... Like, I think I got kicked out of the group for being so bad. I had no sense of min-maxing or an optimal rotation. I literally was just winging it. It was so bad. So that's just my personal experience. I don't have a very fond memory of it. Well, it was fun because it was my first time playing, but like, it was like, I didn't really experience endgame in BC. The content in general seemed pretty chill, but the world even just seemed so much bigger back then, and in a bad way for me, because I felt like there was too big of an area to figure out. I don't know. I would give BC a higher rating than BFA for sure. Higher rating than MOP. I probably would rate BC behind Cataclysm. Personally. I know that's not a very... I know a lot of people really liked BC. Not really for me. Like, not as much as these three. These three were hands down more in my favor. Vanilla I never played, so I have very little opinions on playing Vanilla, but I have a high desire to play Classic when it releases this summer. So, with that being said, I think that the game was good in a lot of ways, but it did not have some things that are slightly annoying. Some quality of life changes that I would say actually lower it on the list. I would put it behind BC, to be honest. Probably even like behind MOP. But I don't know. I'll have to experience it in Classic, but I liked some things, like you didn't have flying right away. I mean, I don't think you had flying at all, to my knowledge, in Vanilla. And mounts were gated by level 40, which is almost max level, and a large amount of gold, which you had to strive for. You couldn't just get. If you were being done with your gold, you would have to wait. Which I like how it increases difficulty and separates you from other people. So I'm actually going to put it on the higher end of A tier, above Kata, but still behind Legion and Wrath. And because I didn't use C or D tier at all, I think I feel safe moving BFA down to C tier. I don't think I would move any of these lower. D tiers, whatever, but significantly lower for Warlords. So yeah, in general, this is what I would do. And I know there's probably nobody out there watching this, but I'm gonna save it and put it on my YouTube too. That's where I would rate it. So my number one favorite's Wrath of Lich King, followed by Legion, followed by Vanilla, Cataclysm, Burning Crusade, MOP, BFA, and Warlords being definitely the last. And that's about all I gotta say. Thanks for tuning in if you did. If you didn't, thanks for watching it on YouTube. And like, comment, subscribe, please, and thanks. Give me a follow on Twitch. Not that I stream that much, but I plan to try maybe in the future. So, especially when I'm playing Classic. In Classic, I probably will be primarily farming gold and lightly raiding and pushing content. I'm not certain yet. We'll see how it feels and how much time I have to put into it and stuff. But I plan on going hard at least at first if I'm able to. Alright, y'all have a good one. Later.